Live, yes, live on air, with the doing of the things and the speaking of the people.
Which I was just about to do. Hello and welcome to the Expletives Included generic podcast with much less nutritional value than other name brand podcasts. I think I missed something there.
But it's cheaper.
It's
Somehow.
cheaper, yes. You don't actually have to pay through the currency of annoying YouTube ads.
Or actually viewing.
You don't have to view it. You still get absolutely nothing from it.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
We pretty much win.
Anyway, you just asked me a question before we went online.
Yes, you were fiddling around with a lighter and doing things. What are you doing?
I'm lighting incense of the lavender variety.
Why?
And then my response was to get rid of the heebie-jeebies.
I repeat the question. Why?
Because the heebie-jeebies are bad voodoo.
Voodoo?
Don't even think about it. It's too soon, Keir. Too soon.
How else am I meant to celebrate his beautiful, beautiful memory?
Well, I've heard that our favourite Witchwood Brewery, which makes our Hobgoblin, which I think I remember you saying is the only beer that you drink.
I don't drink any beer.
I'm sure you said that you used to drink a Hobgoblin. Or Hobgoblin was the only one which actually tasted okay.
It was the only one that didn't make me want to throw up.
Same difference. It's what I drink most often. Well, what I drink most often is cider, but if I drink beer, then I do like a good Hobgoblin. But yes, I think I've seen, I'm not sure if it's just like a fan-made thing, which is possible. But I'm hoping it's true. They've got like it's like a Hobgoblin, but I think it's like Goblin King, which has got Bowie as the Goblin King. And then there's another one which is like something witch, I think, which is Severus Snape.
Sweet.
Again, I'm not sure if those are legit things, but probably should have checked them out.
In our heart of hearts, they're legit things.
I believe.
Yeah, I'm a bit distracted because I've just found out that the Humble Bundle store, which is a thing Daniel didn't know about, is having a massive sale.
I knew about the Humble Bundle store, but I thought that it was kind of like the idea was that you buy. Oh no, yeah, the Humble Bundle store I didn't know about because I just kind of thought Humble Bundle. That's just like the place where you get cheap games in a big bundle, and you don't pay retail price. You pay kind of what you choose, and there's like a minimum, or there's like you pay more and you get more stuff. And then he told me that it was on sale. I was like, how can it be on sale when you kind of choose your own price? And I was informed that they actually have their own store, which is not the Humble Bundle, it's the Humble Bundle store. It's a different thing. Go to the website, search it out. It'll explain everything much better than I can.
You purchase things at retail price, but you still give a percentage of it to charity. And now there's sort of literally hundreds of games on sale, and it's kind of overwhelming.
Think of all of the charities that you could give to.
Think of all the games that could go into my library.
I don't use Humble Bundle that often, but I always give to Child's Play. It's been a while since I've donated, so yeah. But I think it was Child's Play that I always did. I think it's the one which I think it was like in the time of that guy who was the lawyer, and he was saying like games never do anything good, and then like the people at Penny Arcade was like, hey, we're starting a charity. It makes hospitals not shit for kids. And then he was like, games never do anything good for society. What was his name? I wrote about him in my English A level.
That was a long time ago, Dan.
Which is why I've forgotten.
No.
He hasn't done anything in a long time either, because he kind of got disbarred.
Though thinking back to the last time I was in hospital, they actually had some pretty good games there.
Oh, I think I remember actually going to the Child's Play website because some reason, and I was like, okay, let's do something. Let's buy games for kids. And then they were asking for shit games, and I was like, I don't want to buy games. I don't want to foist this nonsense on children. I don't think it's as a bigger thing in England as it is in America.
No, I mean
there are like several hospitals in England that are kind of like in league or like beneficiaries of child's play, but it's not many.
Well, this was many, many years ago when I had my tonsils removed, and I had to stay in the hospital overnight. And they had a PS1 there with the original Medieval.
I remember being terrified of the original Medieval.
It was a good game. Just like, oh, I'm having a really shitty time in this really shitty place. Ooh, Medieval.
So yeah, I love this game, but it's not bringing back my tonsils.
No, I wanted them out. I seriously wanted them out.
So did you have tonsillitis? Or did you just abuse the NHS and say, like, hey, you, NHS, get these fuckers out?
Pretty much, I was just in continuous pain for several years. And you know what the worst part was? They wouldn't let me keep them. I wanted them pickled in a jar.
Well, yeah, but they need to do the weird, freaky science experiments on them.
Oh, they can have other people's tonsils for that. Just because mine was scarred into a polka dot pattern.
Never enough. See,
I'm just imagining a giant monstrosity made out entirely of tonsils now.
Yeah, it's like a flesh golem.
Of tonsils.
Of tonsils. Shit's fucked up, yo.
That would actually be legitimately terrifying.
Do you remember the there's a D&D campaign. It was like the Apocalypse Stone or something, where you have to fight flesh golems.
Yeah.
All of your loved ones in like sewn together in this amalgam of horror.
Yeah.
Begging you to kill them.
That's why you don't fuck with an archdevil, kids.
Yeah. Or at least why you didn't fuck with an archdevil back in the day. I mean, today you can do it all the fucking time and no one's going to bat an eye.
Why is that what happened in your campaign?
No, I haven't actually played that in a long while. We might be doing it again this Friday. And they're demons, but I don't know, they're kind of lower demons. Then I doubt that Rock's going to do anything as horrifying as what Laurie did with his rock. Yeah, there really is no excuse for not having demons being fucking terrifying.
Though I did manage to sell all of my character's souls to a demon.
Ben sold one of his character's souls to a demon as well.
Well, technically I sort of bound the demon to me, but, my soul ended up with it anyway.
It was you made a deal with the devil in the Pale Moon Rise. That's with the devil in the Pale Moon. Shut up, Keir. You basically forged a pact with a demon, and kind of tried to word it in a way that he wouldn't get your soul until something happened, and it was like, that's never going to happen, and then it happened. It was something like that.
It was sort of, we had to put it in a position where it could attack an enemy of ours, and basically another player whose name I shan't mention killed my character before I could do that.
That was the fault of the drow.
It was the fault of Ben.
But he shall remain nameless. Fucking Ben.
Well, I'm not saying how you spell it. Nobody knows how many N's are involved. Might be 4.
So, how's your week been? What things have you done? Have you started your course yet? Have you got like all the things?
I've got all the things, but the course doesn't start till February.
Okay.
So I can't access the documents either. It's like, I have the books, but I can't read all of them. Because it's like...
Hey, Keir, what have you done to my laptop?
What?
I was just like, February, but that's only check date on laptop, only something away. And then I've realized that my laptop says that the date is 1/18/2016. Did you give me an American Windows 10?
Not intentionally, but I wish I had done it intentionally now.
Because for those not in the know,
We do it properly.
We do it properly. We put the kind of smallest unit, a day, at the front, and then the second largest unit, second, the month, and then the largest unit, the year, at the end. So
I like to think of it as a pyramid.
Pyramid. Well, it's an incremental scale. It goes in order.
Well, you know, you have the longest period at the bottom, then the medium length, and then the little length in this pyramid. Of course, I think in Asia you do it upside down, but it still, you know, makes more sense than the American way.
In which way?
In Asia they do it year, month, day.
Anyway, I say backwards. They write in the opposite direction.
Depends on the country and language. You know,
I was being a left to right writing chauvinist there.
No, you were just being out and out racist.
What?
Ignorant. You were ignorant, Dan. Ignorant.
Like, oh yeah, they write right to left rather than left to right.
Yeah, and think of all the languages that write up and down, or in spirals, or in knot form.
Still do?
Hmm?
There are any that still do.
In spirals.
No, I mean like up and down. I think that was just like ancient world stuff that did that mainly.
No, Mongolian, Tuvan.
Mongolian ancient. So that was out and out racist.
Classical Chinese and classical Japanese, which are still used to today. In fact, classical Chinese is still written in China, Korea, Japan, Nepal, and in one other country I can't remember. Oh, and I think Tibetan is written up and down. So, linguistics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, what I spent most of the day.
Say again?
No, you carry on.
No, I'm just, well, not really ever going to use those languages, I suppose.
Not if China. You will if China takes over the world. You will.
Well, no, I'm much more likely to learn like modern Chinese.
Well, you realise modern Chinese is classical Chinese. It's only the written form that's been simplified. You see, there's 3 versions of Chinese, right? There's Romanized, simplified, and classical. And to basically read any literature, you need to be able to understand a bulk of classical Chinese.
I'm sure that all English texts will be destroyed by the time China.
If the commies have their way, it will.
Anyway,
Yeah.
My week I've been reading 1984, and I can't sleep anymore.
I told you not to read it.
You told me not to read it. I think
ready, Dad. You're not ready.
I'm an adult. I'm 24. I think. Yes, I'm 24.
No, we should have started it off easier, like the Hardy Boy mysteries or something. Babysitter Club books. That's it. Yeah, that's what.
I've been told that Brave New World isn't as terrifying.
Depends on how you think on the implications of it.
All I really know, I think, is like it's kind of very much to do with kind of eugenics, or at least like, well,
Yeah.
It's about dominating. Well, in our modern culture, we're dominating people through media and stuff, whereas in Brave New World, they're dominating people by sabotaging embryos and shit.
Yeah. Nice midpoint.
It sounds fairly fucked up, but it's not as. I don't know, for some reason, like the plot of 1984 just seems that much more terrifying to me.
Well, to fit your dystopian theme, may I recommend the film Idiocracy?
I loved Idiocracy. That was so fun. That's great.
I reflect on it through the lens of 1984. And Brave New World to a certain degree.
I don't think they're kind of simpatico.
Well, the idea of media and corporations manipulating populations to being stupider.
Idiocracy wasn't kind of through corporations kind of making people dumber because the corporations themselves were dumber.
True. Though I still find the colonel who wanted to be a pimp really funny.
Mm. Yeah, he was a bit weird. But, well, as you know, we can kind of talk about dystopian futures and how 1984 is actually coming into effect in many ways. Or we can talk about hobby horses.
Yes, because I've already named the episode.
Oh, okay, so we should probably talk about that then.
Yeah, I even wrote it. No, I always write the thing before. So there is one thing I'll show you, because this is just our first time talking today, really. I got a new laptop. It's dinky.
Dude, it's quite dinky. I'll show you something as well. Hold the fort for like 10 seconds, or 20 maybe 30. Hold
How
the
am I
fort.
meant to hold it? What with?
With your hands. What's like the actual saying? Because I've
Hold down the... No, is it hold down the fort or is it hold the fort?
Okay, so how are you holding down the fort? Is it going to float away? Basically, all of these sayings are fucking ridiculous.
You want me to vamp for 20 minutes?
Yes. No.
Where are you going? It's going to take 20 minutes.
No, I said seconds.
Oh, seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
From my bag. I'm going to get drawings. I drew things.
Should I be worried?
No, they're sparrowhawks.
Okay, that's fine. Well, hold on. Sexy sparrowhawks?
No! No!
What? It might have been a sparrowhawk from Wizard of Earthsea. But yes, I have a dinky laptop now. It's only 10 inches. Yeah, I spent the day putting it together. Surprising amount of bloatware on it.
Oh yeah, so hobby horse. I'm assuming you're not actually meaning the long sticks with a horse head on the end.
No.
What's
It's
a
a pun.
hobby horse?
Look at the first bit of the word.
Hobby. Okay, so it's a hobby.
Yeah, our hobbies.
Hobbies.
I've been rereading...
Where does the horse come into it?
Okay, let me explain a bit of etymology here. And the reason I make this reference is because I've been rereading my favorite book, The Life and Opinions of Tristram Shandy, Gentleman, which is a 17th century novel by Lawrence Sterne. Okay, a hobby horse in olden times was a small, like, Shetland pony type horse. Small and cute.
Small and cute. And it wasn't for like actual horse riders. It was just for kids to play around with.
No, it was a specialist breed.
Okay.
Basically, it was sort of specialist horse breeding, and that was your hobby horse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something gentlemen get obsessed with. So then, say someone who was obsessively collecting books or something, that would be their hobby horse. And then eventually it got shortened to just hobby.
Because Shetland ponies are essentially hobbled? Where is this entomology coming from?
I'm not sure why the horse itself was called a hobby horse, but the breed was hobby horse. And then kids had hobby horses because they were child size.
I see. Fair enough. So, something which I'm not sure if it's a hobby, but it's something which I'm trying to get more into is drawing.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, we should bring that up.
So your sexy sparrowhawks.
My sexy sparrowhawks. Well, you say sexy. I think this first one, it's a juvenile sparrowhawk apparently. So yeah. Very risky.
Filth!
It's only a drawing. It's fine. It's not illegal.
Yes, it is.
10 out of 50 states.
We don't live in the States. We live in the UK. We have more anti-pornography laws than anywhere else in the Western world.
They stuck. I remember we had like a load, but I thought they were like chucked out because they were fucking stupid.
No, they went into law, just no one enforces them.
Oh, okay.
Face sitting is technically illegal now.
Only if it's recorded. You can do it in the privacy of your own home, as long as no cameras are involved.
Yeah. So sit on my face and tell me that you love me.
Okay, so I'm not sure how well this is going to work. Actually, that looks okay. I'm going to keep talking because otherwise the camera is going to revert back to Keir. this is my juvenile sparrowhawk.
It is very good.
Thank you. I copied it. This isn't like drawing that I've done kind of from my own mind. I basically like found a picture and copied it. One of the books that I got for Christmas was kind of UK birds and stuff, or European birds. And I just, because like another thing which again, it's like, how do you define a hobby? I want to kind of get more into ornithology, or at least I want to be able to identify birds. It's something which I tried to do a while ago, but kind of didn't really kind of manage to make things stick. And I was like thinking that, I want to start drawing, I want to start learning more about birds. If I combine the two, then I'm going to kind of, it's going to stick a lot more. Like now, if I see a sparrowhawk, I'm much more likely to recognize it because I've like spent this time drawing it, like committing it mind, hand, paper. And then here's like my second sheet, which also has just like different, I think that was let's see, dark gray, so that's going to be a female. So that's a female sparrowhawk, which is much kind of darker, dark grays. And then I've got up here a male sparrowhawk, which is smaller than the female, and also the barring like on the underside is kind of more brown. And then that's
a sexy look. It's like, yes, I'm sexy.
Sexy. And I can't see, like, because there's papers in the way, and that's just like one kind of in flight. Okay. Yeah. So one of my hobby is basically just video games. That's all I'm doing. But I'm trying to branch out at the moment into like all of these other different aspects. And drawing is one of them. Ornithology is another.
You play Magic. That's a hobby.
It is. Not very often. Not as much as I used to. But no, it still counts. Like basically once a week, more or less. Oh, that reminds me. I'm not. On Wednesday, we've changed the date. But yes, I thought like, shit, I need to make a new deck because I said I was going to. But I don't. I can do it tomorrow because I've got one of my other hobbies is cleaning. Kira is very frustrated because we started late, mainly because I had like all shit to take care of. My load of washing didn't get finished until like 8 o'clock, which is when we were supposed to start. And then my father called. And
I blame you for all of it.
But think about how bad it would have been if I didn't have my washing, if we did start at exactly 8, and then my father called. Right in the middle of the podcast.
I'll grant you that, but I expect you to turn the phone off the hook in future.
I'm just so unused to getting calls that it kind of never really registers. I have other things that I'm trying to kind of get more into hobby-wise, but I've done a lot of talking. Kier, you go. You say things. This was your idea, after all.
Well, I thought this would be a good starting point for us to ramble. I'll actually do the same for you, because as you, I'm also very fond of art. As I've said on this channel before, I went to art college, I did arting things, and was told never to pick up a pencil again. So I consider this hobby to be revenge.
Okay. I'm a revenge!
I'm a revenge artist. So
it's good to have strong emotions when because what you're doing is actual art, whereas what I'm doing is sketching, or I'm copying. I don't know.
I only really draw people. That's the thing. And you only draw birds. So together we shall form Hawkman.
No, I try to draw. I've got some pictures. There we go. Yes, it was just down here. A few pictures of the peoples, but I'm not very good at it. So here's a terrifying picture of me.
Mm-hmm.
That on like the screen that looks even worse. But I think I look almost like someone else. Like Savage? Again?
Like Balthier, methinks.
No, I was going to say like a bit like Randall Savage, I think. Is he like the Immortal from DC? He's basically a caveman.
Oh.
Savage.
I'm thinking of a completely different character, I don't know. Because I think there's... No, go on.
This is the background for my mobile phone at the moment. which is Becky Cruel, who is a YouTuber and kind of.
Someone randomly has a mild crush on.
I tend to draw people that if I remember back in college, I like had this same kind of trait where I would draw the people who I had crushes on because it takes a long while to draw things, and so kind of the way that I had like the most motivation to like actually stick to it and get something finished was to kind of draw the people who I had a crush on.
So both hands occupied.
No, you can't concentrate on those two things, and if you do, then the pen would be going everywhere, and also the lines that you would be trying to drawing would be going everywhere as well. That was you're trying to make me make jokes on the medium.
Use semen as your medium.
But no, it's just that I do have quite a big crush on Becky Cruel, but yeah, I just find that easier to kind of actually concentrate, and I have more motivation to draw people who I have crushes on than I don't, because otherwise I just kind of get bored. And so
I'm questioning why you drew me in college.
I think I drew you once, and that's because I needed like drawings of people to go in a portfolio for like university, which I never went to.
Ah, that's your excuse, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Searching for something, I'll show one of mine.
Oh no, I've got the other one. This is like another one of my crushes, but this is one of my male crushes, which is weird because I have like the one female crush, and then all of my other crushes are men, and it's like it's never once made me question my heterosexuality. All of these men who I've fallen in love with have never once made me feel gay.
You could be bi, that's fine.
Be bi, yeah, I know. Shades of grey, shades of grey. Who there we get? That looks. Holding that up, that looks worse, I think.
So
Say again?
So
it's quite unrecognizable because it was like a pose that was just a bit weird. Dan Avidan, from who Connor also has a. Well, I think Connor might have a bit of a crush on him. He's definitely a massive fanboy for Dan Avidan. He's like part of Ninja Sex Party, which is a band. Sky Hill, which is his other band, and Game Grumps, which is a Let's Play channel basically on the YouTubes, which is quite big. They've got a few million subs. So I draw people occasionally, but again, it's just kind of like sketching, drawing like from a source rather than just creating art, which is. I don't know, is that like a distinction that's made, or is that just like something which I've created in my own mind, like the difference between art and sketching, or like drawing and sketching?
that sounds like a distinction in your own mind more than anything, because I'm the exact reverse.
Okay.
In my case, that's a bad thing.
So what's a bad thing? How is it bad, sorry?
Because I've never done life drawing. I very rarely photo reference.
Mm-hmm.
It means that I often get proportions very wrong.
I get proportions wrong anyway.
I know, but it's better to life draw from what I've been told and what I learned.
I've tried to like find basically drawing musculature is something which I've tried to do. So I've got like this old book, The Human Body, which basically I found images online like last time I tried to actually draw muscles and stuff, but I've kind of sort out this book, which is something I must have had when I was quite a bit younger, but yeah, it's just like I'm not sure if that's like supposed to help or not. Just like actually like knowing muscle structure.
From what I understand, yeah.
But
so you know how to draw bodies properly. Like one thing
I kind of get lost in the details. So it's like, okay, so this is this muscle, this is this muscle, and it's just like in like your forearm, there's like probably like 5 or 6 different muscles, and it really is just 2 lines.
Well, it's sort of getting the correct angles and muscle shape. But it's like
I think it's like much more important. Sorry to keep cutting you off. Just like in like shoulder area, like forearm, not forearm, upper arm, like chests, abdominals. Those are kind of like places where muscles are like properly quite defined, because they add to definition, they add to shape. Whereas like the muscles which are inside like the forearm don't really add that much shape. But I will like spend like 10 minutes like, Yes, yes. This is the muscle. This is how it goes. This is the ref.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much on torsos that I think that kind of knowledge helps. Especially when sort of proportioning sort of women versus men and getting distinct body shapes. I know one thing I obsessed over for many years was how clothing hangs on people.
I remember I used to kind of get into that quite a lot as well. It's really easy to fuck up. I think that's
yeah. And actually, this is one of the few things I ever did life drawing of. You remember my old trench coat? I used to wear a trench coat. It was button up straight down with straps across. But one of the things about that, it was very difficult to iron. It was a heavy.
Basically, I think what we should say is, if you were in secondary school and you were of that kind of goth, pseudo-goth persuasion in like, what was it, like early 2000s, you have this exact coat.
Yeah.
I swear down that at least 5 people had this coat. I wanted this coat. I had a different one, but I wanted it.
I know you did. Anyway, one of the great things about that is because of the because I dyed it black again because it went grey. There was great contouring on sleeves and such for showing how it hung at different points. So you could really see clothing, how clothing hung on arms particularly. Now I'll show you a piece I did maybe a month or 2 ago. Let's see if we can get that in focus.
You might have shown me this before, because this is part of your. Actually, no. Was this part of your NaNoWriMo? Was he like the admiral of the ship?
No, this is just something I drew.
This is something else, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you made that mistake the first time as well. I remember something. I remember some kind of link between the two, and the link was probably just me making that mistake.
Yeah. And here's a second one.
This one is new.
Yeah. Not. This is sort of the kind of thing I normally draw. Is sort of just torso shots of people, or sort of portraits.
Lips are a bit weird. I love like the inking and the lines and.
Oh yeah. I was copying an artist by the name of Patrick something or other. There was a show recently that I really liked, and here's a sketch I did recently as well. I really like drawing bionic arms.
Yes, I have noticed, and I think it would be remiss of me not to, because I played like Borderlands 2. Actually, it was New Year's Eve that we were playing it, and there's just like the girl who's got the robotic arm, and it's just like you can like read the data log, and it's just great. It's like one of the few. She was like one of the few bits that was actually funny. I mean, I remember Handsome Jack being funny to begin with, but then just kind of getting, it's like, oh yeah, it's Jack, and he's being Jack, and nothing ever changes. But like they brought out this kind of girl, the Necromancer, as kind of DLC, and it kind of felt fresh again. And like the first thing that we kind of learn about her past is that she has a mechanical arm, and kind of part of the data log, which she kind of decides is like, okay, for future reference, next time, make the mechanical arm first, chop my arm off second.
I really like the Tina.
Tiny Tina.
Tiny Tina in that game. It is one of my mechanical arms. I think you can imagine.
You've got like 2 fingers.
I'm trying to find right now. I think you can imagine the sketch I'm trying to find right now.
Is it one of your clowns?
I haven't done a clown in years. No,
Jackalope. The Were-Jackalope.
Yeah. I'm not sure it's in this sketchbook. I have a lot of sketchbooks.
I could probably dig out some of my old sketchbooks, because I think I know where they are pretty much.
Maybe we should do a show on our art.
I'm basically just thinking that I probably should have asked which version of Hobby Horse you were going to talk about for this episode.
Yeah,
I kind of assumed that it wasn't, yeah, Hobby Horse, but yes. Have you drawn one where he was in a jacket as well?
No, that was just a greaser guy.
That's just a greaser guy. Okay.
Yeah, I draw weird things late at night, and he was one of them.
Hmm. It's because like the old surrealist artists of the day, back at the time,
Back in the past times
when surrealism was a big thing, kind of what they would do, kind of deprive themselves of sleep until they kind of got to this hallucinatory state, and then they'd kind of draw what they saw.
Whereas this is just me being weird.
Oh, okay. So it's not because you're sleep deprived and seeing weird things.
No, this is just me with weird ideas. Though, on the note of that, Salvador Dali, the specific thing he did was he'd have a tin plate and a spoon in his hand, and he'd sit down and fall asleep. Then when he fell asleep, he'd drop the spoon, hit the tin plate, wake up. And from those sort of instant-formed dream thoughts, he would create his paintings.
That's a bit weird.
Yeah.
The only thing that I was going to add was that I can't remember the name of the thing, but basically by depriving themselves of sleep, it kind of made their brain react as if it was on like this certain substance, a certain drug. And some artists kind of decided that they didn't want to deprive themselves of sleep, cut out the middleman, and just took the drugs.
Yeah, most artists or writers do that.
But yeah. So what else? Was there anything else you were going to talk about? Are we done on that?
You sort of said you want to get more into drawing figures and your ornithology. One of the things I want to get into with my art is I want to start doing landscape paintings. Because I am under the foul sway of Bob Ross.
I do want to kind of get into drawing maps as well, which because it's something that I've tried to do, but I've tried to kind of just do like a quick sketch of the world. That's not really coming up because I think this is like, which way up was I? No. I just kind of want to start I guess maybe it's a bit of Laurie envy, DM envy.
Yeah.
He's great with maps. You can't, from what I can see, this isn't really kind of coming up all that well, but I'm not great at drawing maps, I don't think. It seems okay, but it's just something about them just seems wrong. This was like at the time when I was like trying to copy out all of these Final Fantasy, like early Final Fantasy maps, and just kind of like try and figure out where they came from, what they did, and kind of transfer that onto my own world for a video game, for the video game, for a D&D game, for whatever. And I guess I must have just completely forgot about that. Anyway, you were talking about Bob Ross.
Yes, I'm under his foul sway.
I've never seen any Bob Ross, so I'm not entirely sure of his foul sway. I just know that he was a big meme at one point.
It's a really enjoyable show. We aim to make it.
Oh, I don't hear anything.
Really?
Mm.
Turn me down.
Is it still getting an echo? Is it when I talk or when you talk? Is it when I talk or when you talk?
When I talk.
Yeah. I'll turn my mic down anyway.
Move my mic away from the speaker. So Bob Ross, he did a PBS show for many years, through the 80s and into the 90s. And it's sort of half-an-hour programs where he paints a landscape with the audience. It's really, really relaxing and really quite fun. But the thing is, you learn some really interesting techniques, and I have sort of dabbled in some of them. But it's sort of got to the point now where I feel like I want to give these a proper go, and one of the things I'd like to do is draw paint fantasy landscapes. So like one of the things he does is one of the ones I watched the other night was this beautifully done midnight winter scene with an aurora borealis, but he said it'd work really well with a moonscape. So what I thought would be really cool is doing this mountainscape. So just a standard painting, but then have weird moons in the sky or weird stars and that kind of thing. And then maybe like weird tiny creatures in the foreground and that kind of thing. There's weird tiny fantasy details in this otherwise normal landscape setting.
What was I going to say? Essentially, I got, like, just before Christmas, money to spend at W.H. Smith. I bought like a load of books and also one magazine, which I haven't like managed to get round to the kind of reading properly yet. But it's like some of the stuff in it is just amazing. It's Imagine FX.
Mm-hmm.
If you know the publication, is there anything you can say on it or anything you want to?
I've flipped through it time and time again. It's a pretty good graphic design magazine.
Mm-hmm. And there was just like this one which I remember seeing that was just I thought it was like quite spectacular, but it kind of, I can't remember because it's like a while since I saw it, but it feels like it kind of falls into that trope where you'll have like a knight from the medieval period who has kind of come across this castle, but the castle is a ruin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like castles weren't ruins in those times. Castles were castles.
Well, some of them were ruins.
Some of them were ruins, but you know, it's just
they weren't old ruins though.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, there was a battle here last week.
Also, I'm not sure who. It's not going to come up, but it's just there's this comic drawn here, which is just hey Hat Boy, I really like your art. How can I get better at drawing, Jeff? I was like, hi Jeff, thank you. Anyway, all you have to do is draw a lot, all the time, from Hat Boy. And it kind of closes his laptop and starts playing video games.
Yeah, but that is the thing about art. You just need to practice, and allow yourself to suck for a very long time.
Mm.
One of the things sort of about doing oil stuff is actually all the new Magic the Gathering cards are done, the art is done with oils.
Yeah, like talking about Magic the Gathering cards, there's also got like a calendar with it, which I need to put up. And of the 12 months, well, of the 12 months, 2 of them are Magic the Gathering cards. And also, like in the magazine, there are lots of kind of Magic the Gathering artists. And it's just kind of, well, yeah, it is kind of like great art, and like they commission like great artists. I can't remember if I said, but there are like great like modern ones, but someone who I don't think has kind of worked with Wizards in a long while is Rebecca Guay. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name. It's Guay. Search out like some of her artwork that she's done with Wizards, because it's amazing, really. So I think like Auramancer, the card Auramancer was done by her. Sarah's Blessing? No. I can remember what it does. It's a 2-cost enchantment that gives all of your creatures vigilance. And it's Sarah's something, I think. But actually, no. If you go to, I think it's like gatherer.wizards.com or like wizards.gatherer.com. It's, if you go to a search engine, like type in Gatherer, then it's like the first one that comes up, and you can search by artist in their advanced search, so you can kind of essentially search out like all of her cards that she's done. Anyway, this is like the picture that I was talking about. It's just like this knight riding up to like this old castle. I'm trying to get it so it's like a, there we go, that looks pretty good.
Yeah. Wow.
And I just, so that kind of landscape, that kind of the clouds, the castle, like the knight in the foreground.
Yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing I want to do.
I just remember like seeing this picture and just like thinking, I just can't wait to get. I hope that I get to the point where I can draw something like that, because that's amazing.
Well, that's probably painted, to be honest.
I can't. I'm not sure what it says.
Actually, most likely it's done digitally these days.
I think like a lot of what they're like saying is here is like people doing a mix of digital and elsewise. Or like, yeah, this was done digitally. I don't want to spend too much time just reading and not saying anything, but
you don't want to medium shame the artist.
I don't want to do a spoonie where I start talking and then I just ignore you for 10 minutes while I read a book.
Yeah, but at least you have Spoonie's magnificent face to look at.
Whereas my face isn't magnificent.
Well, no, all we have is your ear.
Shush. Yeah, I've just skimmed through it. It seems like he is doing digital art, but he's trying to mimic like oil painting of like old like classical artists.
Yeah, which is very difficult to do, and that's why people use digital these days.
Yes.
Because we have that wonderful function, Ctrl Z.
Ctrl Z.
The universal Adobe back.
Yeah, so amazing artwork, like magazine that's I haven't probably read through, but it's got the amazing pictures.
It's very pretty.
Very pretty.
And you know, we just feel shame at our shitty art.
Everyone starts somewhere. And just because we're starting at the bottom, well, you know.
You know, I'm not even at the level people in my art college were at. It's just like, but the funny thing is, looking at their art they post to Facebook now, it's like, you haven't improved in years. Whereas I've come on leaps and bounds.
And that's what matters.
Yes. I may be grinding at a lower level than you, but at least I'm grinding. Because that's all getting experience is in life, is just grinding forever. And you don't get to make a fresh character.
I wish I could make a fresh character.
Yeah. I'd pick a different class.
So was there anything else you were going to say?
On the subject of arts, no.
No. Just who knows what the future will bring.
Well, shall we use this graceful segue to move into what our thoughts are on Magic, the Gathering?
Have we not talked about it like before? Can't remember. I might have said a bit about it in like the podcast, but I don't think I really said anything about my thoughts. I
mean, we both played the game. I want to get back into it, and you play what, once a week?
With my friends to the south. In my friends in the south, we kind of play like once. Well, we try friends, like every week. But the event is like every week, but sometimes it's like every 2 weeks. So I kind of manage to get down, which I do. And then like again, my friends in the north, in the Shrewsbury group, which is where like the game store is and everything. I play probably less often now. It's like where I used to always go, but now it kind of tends to be maybe once a month, if that. They do lots of events, and I do kind of like a couple of those. Say again?
It's a bit more expensive for you to go there, isn't it?
It's more expensive for me to go there. It's more expensive because rather than like playing just like at a friend's flat, I usually go to the game store and like enter into an event. And I tend to buy stuff while I'm there as well. So
because you have zero resolve.
We say that, but given how much I used to spend and how much I spend now, my resolve has grown.
Yeah, you've gained a will save.
I've gained a will save, yeah. It's called fear of bankruptcy. I get a fear of bankruptcy bonus. It's like +5 against spending money.
Well, I don't play the game anymore. I played it when I was in college. But I keep up with the news, and I've sort of been watching the latest pre-release and watched some games of that. And it looks like an interesting set. Oath of the Gatekeepers is its name.
Oath of the Gatewatch.
Gatewatch. It's all a weird set. Oh, good. You bought
the anthology, which I bought on sale. Which it's not really what we're talking about, but I just thought I was planning on maybe doing a vlog because I just thought it's like, yeah, I feel like doing a vlog where I would talk about the anthology. But I thought this is like a perfect moment to just kind of bring it up, even if it's kind of a bit off topic.
It's fine.
But yes, it's so shiny
and filled with so much value.
So much value, yeah. Like if you want to, this cost me, what's the RRP?
100 quid.
100 quid. That's not what it was being sold for, Magic Madhouse.
No.
I think it was like being sold for 80, and then it was on sale again, down to like £10 less.
So about it was 70.
It was either 70 down to 60. Actually, no. Yeah, it was 70. It was £70, I think.
With free delivery, as I recall. With free delivery, as I recall.
Yes, but because I wasn't here when it was delivered, because I couldn't choose to get it delivered on a Saturday, I had to wake up the next morning at like 5 o'clock so I could go to the sorting office, so that I could collect it, so that I could carry it to work, so that I could like have it all day, so that I could carry it home, so I could bring it home, open it, and
Did they mock you for having card games?
No. You mean sorting office or work?
Work.
No, they didn't.
They did not know what it was.
Hmm?
Did you lie and say it was free weights?
No. They understand that I am the nerd.
Ah. You are the office nerd.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, you must do all the free tech support.
I was actually doing tech support today.
What do you think of the latest block? Are they called set?
I've always had like problems with that. I think it's the latest set. So I think the block is like the Zendikar block. So it was Battle of Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch. I haven't looked into it that much. I'm unimpressed with Magic at the moment. I think like what was the last one? Like Dragons, Tarkir. So like Khans of Tarkir, Dragons of Tarkir, and the other Fate Reforged. I was kind of impressed by that. And the one before that, I can't even remember. Theros. I think it was Theros. Theros was pretty good. It was quite fun. I liked some of the ideas, but again, like it kind of felt like it was losing something. Before that, I think it was possibly the Return to Ravnica block, which is probably the last one that I kind of really quite enjoyed. I really loved that set for like sealed events and draft events, which basically I'm just kind of I've gotten disillusioned with standard, because it is quite limiting. It's expensive to keep up, and I'll make this deck, but I think, oh wow, this is like a really great fun deck. I'll take it to a tournament, and then I'll get crushed by people who are like, oh yeah, so I found this deck online, and it's one of the top 8 decks, and it really is like it uses like the top cards of the set, and it's like this card is actually worth £30. I'll have you know, and it's like, yeah, but my deck has all of the fun goblins and the goblins and it's like, oh, we have no place for you here. So go home.
It really seems like Magic is very much about picking your format these days.
Yeah.
Like, what I understand, Commander's actually a bit wider, but also takes a lot longer.
It depends. You've got like different forms of Commander. So Commander, you've got like 100 card deck. Everything is unique, as in you can only have one of each card,
which always fucks up my red play.
Yeah, which I really like, because like part of this modern and standard tournament play is like it's not about kind of creating good synergy and like fun cards and kind of like creating themes and ideas. It's about combos. It's about finding cards that combo off together and then kind of just winning turn 4. Not because it's been like a long drawn out kind of a battle of wits and a battle of endurance and pecking each other down, or a swift decisive victory. It's like, oh, you're not important in this game because my combo is about to go off.
Well, the people who I follow Magic with at the moment, the title of their Magic show really emphasizes that it's tap, tap, concede.
Essentially, yeah.
Though from watching the games, I watched them do a bunch of games with their pre-release decks today, and there seemed to be a lot of synergy, especially among because it's essentially Eldrazi versus Allies are the sort of two big sides.
Yep.
And the Allies have really good synergy.
Yes, they do. But again, it's like I didn't go to this release. I went to the Battle of Zendikar release, and it wasn't. I didn't like it, and I think essentially what I'm trying to get at here, something that I haven't really kind of thought about, is the reason I'm disillusioned at the moment is because I don't like standard play. I don't like modern play. I don't like the whole tap tap concede. So what I really like is drafting. I like sealed events because you can't kind of manufacture a deck from. Say again?
You can't net deck.
You can't net deck when your pool of cards is that small. There are going to be shit events like the pre-release that I went to. Someone pulled Ulamog, which is essentially the win card. And, funnily enough, he did actually end up winning the tournament. His entire kind of deck was constructed around the idea of, it's like, okay, so I'm going to draw cards, I'm going to search out land until I'm at the point where I can cast Ulamog. Then I'll cast Ulamog, and then I'll win. And that's how his games basically turned out. And as I was saying, the last set that I really enjoyed was the Return to Ravnica, because I think that was just such a great drafting set. And once that was kind of removed from the equation, I don't want to kind of spend money to go into town so that I can spend money on a tournament, so I can spend money to basically just kind of have people play with themselves in front of me and then leaving me feeling like I'm somehow dissatisfied with the whole situation.
Well, it looks to me like this set might be good for that. I don't know. Though they've introduced a really weird mechanic that I don't know how I feel about.
Oh, the wastes.
Yeah. They've essentially added a new color that isn't a color.
Yeah, I thought that was fake the first time I saw it. So essentially, Eldrazi are colorless, and the idea is that for colorless mana, you can spend anything. So you can tap red and kind of spend it on something else. So usually spells, let's say, you have 1 red and then 5. So the 5 is just whatever. You can spend blue, you can spend white, you can spend.
They're calling it generic mana now.
Generic. I think I remember discussions I've seen online. I think void mana or something.
No, the just the 5 number is generic, then colorless.
Okay.
I've heard that called glass, which I quite like.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. But yes, so now it's there's a colorless color which you can only spend colorless mana on.
Which, okay, it just feels weird.
It feels weird.
But it does make the Eldrazi feel more special. But the idea that they are entirely sort of world-eating things.
The last time they kind of screwed around with mana that I think it was the last time they screwed around with mana was with Phyrexian mana, where essentially you could either pay the mana or you could pay life instead.
Yeah, that's where I stopped playing, because I was like, this is bullshit.
I really liked that.
Yeah, but you're a white player.
Sometimes, but I tend to stay away from life game.
That's what you played mainly back then.
Oh, okay. Oh, actually, no. I remember. I don't think that I played white. I think I played Mirroring Crusader.
Oh, yeah. You see, I'm a mono red player who plays mono red to 7. When then all of the dragons.
Ah, yes. I guess because the first big deck that we had, it was the Knights versus Dragons deck, and we kind of shared it. You had dragons and I had knights, and I've never looked back.
And then I sold it to someone.
I think I might have bought one or two of the cards from you because I've got a big.
I know I offered them up to people.
Mm.
I know I offered them up to people.
Mm. Hobgoblin.
Have they what was that game we played? There was a specialist. There was a format we played once or twice where it was you moved between worlds.
Oh, Plane Chase. That was quite fun. That's actually quite expensive now, but you can either buy the cards, which is now quite expensive, or you can find an app with your phone, which just kind of does it for you. That was quite fun. A type that I liked was Arch Enemy, where you've got like one person versus three people, and like the one person has this deck of oversized, overpowered, crazy cards that completely changes the game. But you're fighting like against the odds. I just really liked that. I thought it was like a great format.
I remember we put Ben in that position a lot.
I remember being in that position a lot, to be honest.
Well, it's probably your set.
It was my set, and it was kind of like it was like the deck and the cards which you bought for me, which I'm grateful for. Had some great artifacts. It was like the Grixis. It was the black, white, blue deck, which I'm not sure of like what the other ones are, but I'm going to say that was like the best one you could have got. So kudos.
I remember I got a Mirrodin, either as a deck or just some boosters for Mirrodin, the first Mirrodin thing. No, Mirrodin Besieged. Sorry.
Mirrodin Besieged. So that's because Mirrodin happened like a long while ago. This was like a return to Mirrodin, as it were.
And then we've had Mirrodin again since then.
No,
pretty sure we have.
Because we have. I can't remember because that was like the set before when we started, I think. Because no, I came in with New Phyrexia, which was the third set of that block, and I think like before that it was like Mirrodin Besieged, and then there was like another Mirrodin, but there was that block of three, and then before that there was
or something.
Say again?
I thought there was Mirrodin Shattered or something.
No,
I can't remember. I'm looking it up. But I remember I got an artifact from that basically won me more games than any other card.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Possibly
Engine. That's kind of a Wormcoil Engine. That's kind of a game ender.
No, it was a defensive one. That was the thing. It was like every time you cast a spell, gain life or something, which in my kind of deck was insane. Oh, I see where I was going wrong. The one before Mirrodin Besieged is Scars of Mirrodin.
Ah, that's what it's called, yeah.
But something I learned recently, they haven't reprinted Lightning Bolt, my favorite card, since Core 2012.
It's an overpowered card.
It's the best card in the game.
It's too powerful. I love it. Because like what we've got usually at the moment now is like the same like Lightning Strike, which is one red, one generic, which is 3 damage to target creature or player. Or we've got Shock, which is 1 red, which is 2 damage to target creature or player. So.
And then there's one in the new set that's 1 red, 1 generic, deals 1 damage to 3 creatures or players. But it's one of the archetypical cards. It's like the 1 blue counter.
I don't think there was ever like a 1 blue counter.
No, there's 1 card for each of the 5 colors that's sort of the archetypical card, and Lightning Bolt was reds.
No, I think you're
bit too invested in this 1 card, yes.
Well, there was Giant Growth in green and Lightning Bolt in red. But as for black, blue, and white, I have no idea what you'd be talking about.
I'll look it up on the wiki.
What was actually your question? What was like what started this? What was my thoughts on Magic the Gathering, or because we kind of went off on a massive tangent.
What's the last question was sort of what's your thoughts on the current block? But you haven't really seen it. So.
My thoughts on Magic the Gathering in general. So, yeah, basically it's just kind of like thinking about it. It's like the turnaround. It's because like every 3 months, and I think it's continuing this way. Every 3 months, they do kind of bring out like more cards, and that is like a way to keep it fresh, keep it going. But it's also kind of watering it down, I guess. It's thinning it.
There's too much there.
There's too much there now. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Here's the lightning bolt thing. No, I agree with you.
Is it unsummon? Is that the one which you're talking about?
No, it's there are 5 boons from Alpha. Each of these instants has a mana cost of M and an effect involving the number 3. Healing Salve, Ancestral Recall, Dark Ritual, Lightning Bolt, and Giant Growth.
What does Ancestral Recall do?
I'm looking them up now.
Because Dark Ritual, you pay 1 black and then you get 3 black to add it to your mana pool.
Yep.
Healing Salve, I think, is like you either gain 3 life or you prevent 3 damage.
And Ancestral Recall is draw 3 cards.
For 1?
Yeah.
There has to be something else.
That's it. Target player draws 3 cards.
Oh, right. I think that's the one which hasn't been reprinted since. It's like a vintage or a legacy card, and it's worth in the hundreds.
Yeah, it's the rarest of the 5.
Again?
It's the rarest of the 5.
Check how much it costs, because I think it is crazy.
And it's only allowed in vintage. But it's
price tag here.
But it's restricted.
So does that mean you can only have 1 in the deck? Is it?
Yeah.
And yes, how much price tag? Price tag.
I don't know. I'm on a wiki. It doesn't have the thing.
Okay, I'll check that out. So,
hold on. Price list, non-foil.
So I was underestimating when I said a few hundred.
Yeah.
According
I'm seeing is 1,032.
I'm seeing a low estimate of $1,250.
Is that for foil?
I'm not sure. It's just on Magic Cards.
Okay.
Let's look at Star City Games, because they're usually kind of the benchmark of what's what. For a near mint / mint, they got it at $4,999.99.
Well, good thing you only need 1.
And that was in alpha. For beta, it's $2,999.99. In unlimited, it goes down to $1,999.99. Collector's edition. Oh, you can get the collector's edition, which it's not tournament legal. It's one of the ones which has like a gold border on the back, because it was like part of a set deck, which has actually got 4 in stock.
I think that's mainly for kitchen sink.
They've got 8 in stock, like 4 near mint / mint and 4 in slightly played, and they're only like $100. So if you want like an ancestral recall, yeah, just get the collector's edition. Get the gold bordered card. You can't use it in tournaments, but yeah.
And have every salty player call a judge on you. It's like, we're playing kitchen sink. There is no judge.
Yeah.
Or is it kitchen sink?
I like. And then, yeah, geez. It's expensive, but so general idea. What do I think of Magic the Gathering? It's just been a while since I've been to a set which has really kind of sparked my interest and sparked my imagination. So I'm kind of not that big in tournament play. I'm not that big in like making a day of it like I used to. I do occasionally kind of go to, if I lived in a city and there was like a game shop just around the corner, maybe I'd be more into it. But because I have to kind of put so much effort into going, it just doesn't feel like it's worth the effort. And the fact that I actually like see it as effort to go and have fun, I don't see why
Why you bother?
why I bother. So essentially, I am just kind of playing casual. I'm playing kitchen sink, just like I got all of these cards, and rather than like being limited by modern, being limited by standard, being limited by whatever, I'm just making a deck and I'm just kind of playing with it. We do kind of like try to find other ways to kind of liven them up. So like tribal decks, or my ideas never come to pass. So like the things that a style that I've always liked and always kind of been an advocate for is just regular Highlander, which people don't call Highlander. Which is annoying because so Commander used to be called EDH, Elder Dragon Highlander, because you had an Elder Dragon who was your kind of your commander, and it was a Highlander deck because there can be only one, essentially, one of each card. And so from that, I derived that just like a normal 60-card deck with only one of each card would be to the Highlander standard. You can have only one of each card. So, and that I really liked, because that way you're forced to kind of get cards that work well with each other, which doesn't hinge on a single card, that doesn't hinge on a single combo. And you just kind of like play a synergetic deck, which I really like. I really like that idea. And you will get people who will try to break it and kind of base it all around one card. They'll kind of go blue and they'll just kind of draw and loot and search out the cards that they need, which is really, but you know, it's just that it's harder to abuse, it feels like. And that's kind of like what I dislike about tournament play. It just feels like people abuse the game to win rather than to have fun. So again, like another reason why I prefer casual rather than tournament. And I've actually like got a friend who used to live in Manchester, and he would like say about like the people at tournaments, because I feel like the people who I play with take it seriously, but like he had anecdotes from like this Manchester group where people would cheat during games and would lie about like match statistics. So it's like, say you won like 2-1, and then like the other guy said just like, oh yeah, I'll call in the score, and then he would lie and say that he won.
But this is a game.
But that's apparently something which has happened to him.
These are like 13-year-olds, right?
These are adults, I think. I can't remember, but I'm assuming they're adults.
Actually, as a 13-year-old, I wouldn't have done that.
Mm.
Then again, I have no sense of competition in my body.
And you probably wouldn't expect that you would be able to get away with it.
No, I can lie really well. It's just I don't care enough. So, I lost. Oh well. Did I have fun trying?
Yeah, I can't be asked with all that. So until there's like a new deck which just like has the imagination and the zeal, and well, also at the moment, Zendikar is basically, so I say I came in like around the time of Euphorexia, but really it was Zendikar that I kind of came in that kind of, actually no, because I think I can't remember the time scale, but Zendikar is like, the last block of Zendikar is like, we bought like a display box, and that had like some amazing cards, and it was great, and it was fun, and it kind of sparked the imagination, and it was new, and it was exciting, and it was great. But where were we before there? And that's kind of it livens the imagination and stuff. But like the most recent set is we're going back to Zendikar because that was great. You like that, right? And then the
What
next
we
set's
need
like
is another time spiral.
Hmm?
What we need is another time spiral.
a new, like, completely new thing. Because like the next one is like, hey, it's like we've just had, it's like, hey, Zendikar, remember Zendikar? You loved that. Let's do that again. Next set, it's like, hey, you remember Innistrad? You loved that. Let's do that again, right? It's just
like Innistrad.
Innistrad was very popular. Even
It sucked.
people liked it. It was
I
popular.
hated the werewolves.
Hmm.
Two-sided cards was never a good idea.
Yeah, that's kind of what got us into wearing sleeves.
Which was their ploy all along.
Essentially.
And instead of buying sleeves, I quit the game.
So yeah, there's nothing which is kind of. I'm just kind of getting disillusioned with it, and it doesn't feel like there's anything to drag me back in, and they're just kind of retreading old ground, and they're like, because they changed like the way that it works now. Because it used to be like 3 sets and then a core set, 3 sets and a block and then a core set, and they changed it because they were basically saying like by the time of the 3rd set comes around, they've kind of run out of ideas for that kind of thing, so they changed it. So it's just 2 sets to a block, but they're doing, and the core set's never sold as well. So they're just doing like a 2-set block and a 2-set block. So that's going to be like their 4th for the year.
And they recently did a Modern Masters or some such set recently.
Yeah, which is always fun. But then again, that's old ground. It's like they're only kind of re-releasing cards that have already been printed.
I know, but it's sort of, I can get my lightning bolt back.
If it was in Modern Masters 2, I can't remember.
It was in Modern Masters 1, not 2.
And so, like, the first thing that they're doing, like the first 2 blocks of this new kind of style, which will kind of help their productivity and their imagination and like keep things fresh. The first thing that they do with it is retread 2 old fucking planes that we've already been to, that we've already explored, that we already know.
Yeah. And think about it. This is a fluff world where you can go to literally any plane.
Multiverse. And this is not like a multiverse in like there is like a multiple number of universes. This is a multiverse and there's an infinite number of universes.
Yeah. And also, why does it
could exist does exist. And they go back to fucking Zendikar and Innistrad, and I'm just like saying, it's like, no, go back to Morningtide because that left on a cliffhanger. Go back to Eventide, that left on a cliffhanger. That left things unsaid. That left things like confusing. Like, what the fuck happened? It's like Zendikar happened. It's like, yeah, the Eldrazi came back and they fucked everything up, and that's what the world is like now. And then we bring it back and it's like, oh no, everything's not too bad. And it's like, but then like some of them fucked off, but then there's still one that's here, and then Kozilek's actually still here anyway. But because we couldn't think of anything new, we're just kind of going back to this thing which and now we're going back to Innistrad, but you know what happened at the end of Innistrad? Fucking Avacyn came back, destroyed the demons. Everyone's safe and happy. But no, let's go back because something's happening there.
And if they're going to go to a pre-existing property, why the fuck haven't they gone to D&D?
Well, they're kind of separate entities and wizards.
But they have the legal right to do it. You know, let's have 1 block of Greyhawk, 1 block of Planescape. You know, 2 of the older properties that aren't as well done, that will be excellent for D&D, for Magic fodder.
I'm not sure. It'd be interesting. It would be interesting, but I'm not sure if it would be kind of great. It would have to be like I think that would have to be like an unset. Unset are basically silver bordered, like on the front, like a silver border. They're not kind of tournament legal. They're just for fun. So you have like I can't remember. There's like asses are a big thing. So just like as in like the donkey horse hybrid. So you have like I'll try and find one. So if I just I remember one which was called Smart Ass.
Is this one of those sets where it's like you give your opponent money and they go buy you a drink?
No, that was I think like a holiday special card. That was Mods coupon. It's like a 0-cost artifact, like sacrifice it, target player gets you a drink.
But you have to provide your money was a stipulation.
stipulation on like the gatherer, not on the actual card of the rules of
Oh.
the text, rule text of the card. I think they have to errata it online to say it's like you have to pay any kind of fee for this drink. So like if you're at a bar, then you have to pay for the drink. But if you're like at home, it's just like get me a glass of water or something. Then, so Smartass is a silver bordered card. It's 3 cost. It's a 2.5 power and 1 defense. Whenever Smartass attacks, name a card. Defending player may reveal his or her hand and show you the name card isn't there. If that player doesn't, Smartass is unblockable this turn.
Okay.
Also, like a great one, which is it's another ass card. Ass card. And it's like counter any silver bordered card in any game that you can see. So they're not serious. They're not like tournament legal. They're just in there for fun. And I think if they wanted to do like a D&D set, then it would have to be that, just like one single block, one single kind of set of cards, not legal, just a bit of fun.
Yeah, like I can
see that possibly working.
Oh,
I would expect to see more like on the Imgur, like the My Little Pony sets, but.
I was trying to. What are the name of the gnomes in Dragonlance?
The gnomes and you mean the halflings in Dragonlance, the Kenda?
Yeah, the ones who blew themselves up into space.
Oh, in Dragonlance.
Yeah, I think that was them.
No, I don't think that was space in Dragonlance.
No, they just blew themselves and they exited the stratosphere. Also, Spelljammer affects all of the worlds.
They were just Tinker Gnomes, weren't they?
I don't know. But, you know, that kind of card. Yeah, I think that's what they need to do. They need to have a set where they're not taking it so seriously.
I think like a lot of people are kind of calling for like a new silver bordered set.
That'd be fun. The thing I really like about Magic, so I'd like to get back into it, but you're right, the sets just don't spark the imagination for this. Is I like fluff synergy, if that makes sense. So I like decks of all one creature.
Tribal decks, yeah, I like that too. So like a lot of my decks, I've got like a Selkies deck, which Selkies aren't a real thing. They're technically merfolk, but Selkies like a specific type of merfolk. It's just in the name. It's not in like the creatures. So I've got like a deck that's based around that. I've got a deck that's kind of based around allies. I've got a deck that's based around vampires. That's like what I say, like when I say that I like making decks that are fun, that are interesting, rather than decks that are based around a combo, an infinite combo that just kind of wins, or just like yeah.
It's like, you know, my favorite, the deck I played with for ages was my dragon deck. Not the best put together of decks, but I just liked the fluff of it. And admittedly, there's something about seeing your opponent's face when you play Thunderwave Dragon and you just wipe out their entire board.
Unless you were playing Ban, in which case it was like, oh, that would really suck, Counterspell.
Seeing your face.
It's just like, I'm going to win next turn. Nothing can. Oh, shit.
It's like, oh, I'm just going to swing for. No. But like one of the things I wanted to do, sort of as a way of getting back into the game, was build a goblins deck. Now, goblins are actually still, from what I understand, one of the most playable tribes.
I think
also one of the most broken. Like, there's a way of playing it that you can have summon 34 goblins in one turn.
Yeah, if you're a loser, douche. Okay, so there's a card. Well, I'm not sure like kind of the context of what you're saying, but there's a card called Krenko Mob Boss. I think he's like 4 cost. I think he's a 3/3. You just tap him, put a 1/1 goblin onto the battlefield for each goblin you control.
Yeah,
so essentially just double goblins, double goblins, double goblins, go. So getting up to more than 34 in a turn is, if you're doing it right, then it's easy.
Yeah, this is a turn 4.
Turn 4. Turn 4. Okay, so turn 1, you would have to play a goblin. Turn 2, you would play kind of Krenko's Command, Dragon Fodder, like something which gives you 2 tokens.
I don't know. I can't remember how it's done.
You would get one of the Goblin Lords that gives your goblins haste. Actually, I think there's one which gives goblins haste and reduces goblin spells by 1. So, okay, that's turn 3, you've got to that many goblins. And then turn 4, you could play like another goblin and mob boss, and they would all have haste. No, I can only work it out at 12 turn 4.
There's
like enough to win. You mean 34 damage or 34 goblins?
34 goblins.
I'm not sure how you would do that.
There's instants and sorceries that will, and I think there's an artifact that'll add a goblin token for every monster summoned or something.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I like those kind of decks, and that's sort of what appeals to me, the sort of internal deck synergy and the calculating of it. But you're right, there just isn't the kind of I can't really get enthused. Well, let's move on from Magic to.
We have been talking about it for a long while.
Yeah, though it is 10 now, so we've been going for 90 minutes or so.
I think we started at 8:30 because, like I said, we're only half an hour late. So that's enough for us. And that's pretty much exactly what I said, I think. So yeah, we've been going for 90 minutes.
So actually, let's call it there. You know, we've talked about a lot of our weird interests.
We might be able to even pick it up next week.
If we can't think of another topic. Because politics is making us sad.
At the moment, 1984 is making me sad. Reading, that's like another thing that I've tried to get into more.
I think I shamed you with my book list last year.
Not really. I know that I'm never going to read as much as you. But yeah, so I can talk about reading. We could probably talk about board games. Have we talked about board games yet?
No, I don't think we have.
Films. I think I talked about Buck Legacy, which is something which I want to play. I remember I played it like just as a solitaire game, which is quite fun. But I don't have time. I've got so much more housework to do. A woman's work is never done.
What you need is a house elf.
Yeah, that would be cool. What else? And game developing, I guess that's something which I've been trying to get into for a long while now. Whether it's going very well or not, it's like, well, actually, no, that's a lie. It's not anyone's guess. It's very obvious. It's just not going very well.
Laurie's getting into it now, so you'll have competition.
Say again?
Laurie's getting into it now, so you'll have competition.
Right. Oh shit. He's getting into the YouTubes, and it's going to be better than ours. And he's getting into the video games, it's going to be better than mine. He's into the drawing, and it's better than ours. It's like that extra 10 years of life experience that he's got is like really helping him.
Yeah, it'd be good if it wasn't such a depressing 10 years.
I'm not entirely sure of Laurie's life story.
Well, he did his degree and could never get a job out of it, so I find that fairly depressing.
Was it computer science?
No, he did film.
Oh, yes. Anyway, on that lovely note, thank you for watching. We've been Expletives Included. I've been Daniel. This has been Keir. We've been talking about our hobby horses. Not the sticks with the horse head, which you kind of bounced around on as a child, but hobbies and interests. So hopefully you've derived some kind of nutritional value from our talking.
I hope you haven't.
And we'll see you all again next week. I say all, I think the last time we got 1 view. So we'll see you again next week.
It might have been me.
I'll see you again, Keir, next week.
Yes, because we won't talk again till Monday.
Sure we will. And we need to talk about armor and stuff.
Oh, yes, we do. We do.
Anyway, I have some controversial views. Anyway.
He has some stupid views.
We'll see you again next week. Yes, we'll see you again next week.
Bye bye.